Hello, you 27 beautiful creatures of the universe trying to find your spiritual relevance in the galaxy around you. Welcome to Russell Brand's show. It's not Russell Brand at all. I am, of course, Jason James, and this is Fighting for Liberty. We are looking for Dirty 30, folks. Dirty 30. That was a long time ago for me in age, but we are looking for Dirty 30 as far as subscribers are concerned. I would like to hit that in the next week. I know I haven't been around for a week, so I probably don't deserve your patronage, but I'm begging you. I want the Facebook Dirty 30 tack. It's like a little tack. And you guys remember like those idea boards? You just like have it's like a cork board, and you would post idea. You'd have an idea, you write it down on like a piece of paper, and you'd stick it on the board like that. It's a very I'm a fucking boomer. Okay, all right, that's how I roll. But I want that Dirty 30 tack from Facebook. So let's get us to 30 subscribers would be great. Dirty 30. Let's do it. What's going on in the world today? So much. I hope you guys had an incredible week while I was away. I'm currently on the job hunt. That's why I wasn't around for the last week or so. But what happened in the last week? Oh, it feels like the whole world just kind of crumbled around us, right? So lots to get to. Let's get to what's going on right now in Canada. So right off the bat, I got my don't forget you gotta have your bullshit mug. You got to get that Java in you, right? You got to get ready for this. Okay, so first things first, and I'm not going to touch on this for long because I'm sure, unless you're living under a giant boulder, you've heard about the fact that the Emergencies Act was rescinded. Why? Why was it rescinded, Jay? Well, I'll tell you why. Because it was in Senate, and halfway through the Senate hearing, it wasn't looking good for old Justino. He wasn't liking what looked to be a negative outcome for him and the Emergencies Act. So he figured, hey, before they get to a decision, I'll just rescind it first, looking like a quasi-hero. And he says, hey, you know what? The emergency is over, to which we all replied, what emergency? What emergency are you talking about? I don't see a nationwide emergency here of incessant honking and truckers parked in handicap spots. That's not a national emergency, my friend. But anyway, he rescinded it, knowing that the writing was on the wall. Obviously, that it was grossly unpopular as far as the population was concerned, for the most part. So probably a good move to rescind that, but only because he thought he was going to lose in Senate. Had he thought he was going to win that by in a landslide, he would have hung on to it. We're talking about Justino here. He would have hung on to these powers. Now, in saying that, he rescinded things. Is it over? Of course it's not over. I can't believe I can still hit those notes. It's not over because he left some of the new laws in play and some of the new powers that he bestowed on himself and his cabinet. So wrongthink is still illegal. If you donate to the wrong cause, especially a political opponent of his, he will and can seize your bank account again. So he can seize your money and possibly assets, and you could be possibly charged. So it's not completely rescinded. We're still in a quasi-emergency act. And until somebody, takes over as prime minister, I believe that this is going to stay in place. So for guys like me, content creators, even though I've only had 27, I got 27 loyal fans, and I appreciate every single one of you. For people that are bigger than me and have more viewership and stuff like that, are going to have to be careful of what they say, because opinions now have to conform to a narrative, and that narrative has to be whatever it is that he believes, I guess, and his cabinet believes. So just be warned that posts you make and videos you might create or whatever are going to be scrutinized heavily now. And there's even some bills being passed through, or they're tabled right now in Parliament, and I think it's C10, C36, and 233, I believe. Fucking terrifying bills. These are like pre-crime type of bills. I don't know if you've seen Minority Report with Tom Cruise. He's dreamy. That movie basically saying that they can go back in time basically onto your feeds and pick out comments that they find to be dangerous and hateful, and that could possibly lead to you doing something violent possibly down the road. They're going to be the arbiters of morality on this. That's fucking terrifying. That is terrifying. This is a dystopian type of way of thinking, and we're just allowing this somehow. I don't know. I'm hoping that the Conservatives and maybe the Bloc and the NDP are going, that's a little fucking, come on, man. I mean, that pre-crime, that's, wow. It's science fiction-y, and it should feel that way because nobody in their right mind would ever think this is a good thing. Typically, you would think. So there's that. So that's as far as I'm going to touch on this. The Emergencies Act, like I said, mostly rescinded. So at this point, carry on with your life and don't worry about. You still worry because it's out there. It's out there and it's hunting the likes of us. What I want to get to is a video that I saw and tried to find this video. This pisses me off. But the reasoning for it is because the mainstream media I'm guessing isn't exactly ready to see this yet, or ready to have us see it, or whatever. SNL on the weekend had Brian Mullaney. Is that his name? I don't know. I don't even know who this guy is. Anyway, he's been on there a few times, and they did a skit, and I tried to find this skit everywhere, uncut, so I could show you guys. And I had such a hard time. I gave up, and I basically, I'm going to piggyback off of Mr. Ben Shapiro here. So shout out to the Daily Wire and Ben Shapiro. Thank you for finding this video and me being able to show at least some of it. So I'm going to let you watch. I don't want to ruin it. Okay. But it's SNL trying to be funny, and it hasn't happened in about 25 years. Last time I checked, but have a listen.
Not like I'm anti-mask or anything. I just sometimes wonder if any of the things we did actually helped.
Gina. No. We can talk about this incredibly complicated and emotional topic.
Yes, of course. I will start because, for instance, while I am so personally relieved that I'm vaccinated.
Careful.
Accurate.
I sometimes wonder if other people who are hesitant, careful,
100%.
might not have like a valid,
What?
not valid, but understandable.
Not tonight.
Help me.
I think what she means is maybe sometimes we are a little overzealous when we condemn.
Oh, no.
I just think that if people are actually losing their jobs.
Oh, no.
Careful, girl.
Look, vaccines save lives. Fact. Okay? They stop the hospitals from being overrun. Fact.
Where are you up to?
But did I have to dump my oldest friend just because he didn't get
No.
a booster?
Squeal, piggy. So yeah, exactly. So if that doesn't fucking kind of piss you off, and I know it's not intended to, what they're trying to do here, as far as I'm concerned, is we see you people that thought this was the way it was about a year ago, and we dunked all over you for the last fucking 18 months about having these opinions. And now that it's all kind of crumbling around you, let's make a funny skit about how we were totally on your side the whole time, and we totally support free thinkers and people that do their own research. No, you don't. So fuck you, SNL. Fuck you very much. That's what I need to say there. I just had to get that out. But to sit here and to pretend that now all of a sudden it's cool and it's trendy to have these ideas, no. So it's going to be a long haul for these people, okay? And even though they did this skit, I'm positive that they probably still hold these views, but they understand that it can't go on forever, and it can't. The people that I hang out with, and I try and surround myself with more intelligent people than myself for a reason. And everybody, I listen. That's about probably some of the best advice I've ever gotten, is to be the dumbest in the room, because then you have people you can learn from. This skit is just reminiscent of what we've been seeing in history, and these guys are just trying to skate by and be like, we were totally on your side the whole time, as they kind of duck out of the party, you know what I mean, before somebody notices them that they're not wearing the right hat. It's not funny to me. I mean, I was laughing in there because it represented a lot of people that I've had these discussions with, where they're just like, what? that, and I can't even, dude. I mean, you can't think that. It's just like, yes, I do think that, because I use critical thought to try and come to a conclusion. I don't just swallow narratives whole, right? So I'm sure there was a lot of people that were not happy about this skit, and understandably so. But I guess the positive side, if there is any, is that we're on the 5-yard line, maybe 10. Yeah, there's still a lot of people out there that are balls deep in this narrative who are going to be wearing masks for 5 years. And if that's you, that's fine. You know what? But if you were really, I'm just saying right now, if you were just an absolute dickwad to people during this whole thing, you need to take a look in the mirror and get those apologies ready. Yeah, maybe some gift cards. Sorry, I was such an asshole to you. Sorry. Maybe you might start wanting to think about doing that. But if you want to keep going down that road and treating people like shit, you're going to find yourself very alone very quickly. Okay. Let's transition into what's happening in Canada. With Jason Kenney. He did a press conference yesterday. I want to say yesterday. Let's say it's yesterday. Okay. Where he is, he's talking about AHS here specifically, but what he says is kind of for across the board for any business that's still, pushing the mandates and pushing the REP, whether it be a restaurant or a company like mine, who are still pushing these mandates. It's time to move on. It's time to trust the science. If you're an arbiter of the science that you've been trusting thus far, and the science has been changing, but it's not changing in a way that you like, it doesn't mean that science is no longer valid. Okay, so let's have a listen to what Mr. Jason Kenney has to say.
It's Tom from Global. It's for the Premier or the Health Minister. Is your government moving forward on a directive for AHS to remove the vaccine mandate for healthcare workers later this month?
Well, we have given direction to AHS to come to us with options on the vaccine mandate, because the data is clear that while vaccines are still powerfully protective against severe outcomes like hospitalization and death, there is now no longer any meaningful statistical difference in terms of transmission and infection between vaccinated and unvaccinated individuals.
I'm sorry. What? I'm sorry. Can you speak into my good ear? I didn't catch that. For the people in the back, did you hear what he just said? There it is. There it is, guys. Now, I don't agree with this guy very often. He went balls deep on the mandates. He went balls deep on the lockdowns. He did the REP program, which is essentially the QR codes to get into restaurants and gyms and go to a hockey game and go to the library and do things normal people do. Have your kids be able to play sports. He went in on all in on that. But he sees, like SNL, that this, and especially he's going to be voted out probably in 2 months unless something drastic, happens that he saves the province from complete obliteration, figuratively and literally at this point. I think he's probably going to get ousted out of his own party because of how many times he's flip-flopped. So he's now flip-flopping back. The problem is it really a flip-flop when the data is everywhere and people are seeing it and reading it and saying, hey, this no longer applies anymore. This doesn't make any logical sense anymore. Why are we still doing this? So he's getting on board with it now, and he's not particularly a front runner because, Saskatchewan and New Brunswick and Ontario, big Doug Ford there. Oh, you've got all these yahoos out there, eh? He's rescinded his as well. But he rescinded his the day before Doug Ford rescinded his. He was shouting the praises of all the mandates and how they've stopped stopped Omicron, but COVID in general from becoming an even bigger issue. And then the next day drops everything and says, "Oh, we gotta unite, we can't keep doing this, right?" And it's like, dude, the day before you were saying that these mandates and these lockdowns and everything were the best course of action, and I'd do it again if I have to kind of mentality. Well, Jason Kenney's kind of taking a bit of a different approach, and he's making it sound like going forward, at least before they put it back in draconian measures, which they still have the power to do, mind you, maybe, just maybe, we'll take a different approach. Now, let's continue listening to see what else he has to say. But man, oh man, I know for a lot of us, we didn't know if we were going to get to this point. But it's good to hear that somebody's finally, and some people are finally saying something. So what else you got, Jay? What else you got?
And that's why we lifted the restriction exemption program 3 weeks ago. Because I think the rationale for proof of vaccination programs no longer exists. The rationale was this, and it was a compelling rationale. Earlier in the pandemic, particularly in the spring, summer, and fall of 2021, we saw vaccines having a very powerful effect at reducing transmission and infection, not just severe outcomes. But that has changed. And our approach to the disease has to change as the disease changes. We can't just be bloody-minded about this when a policy lever that we pulled is no longer useful. So with the waning protection of vaccines that have been taken months ago, and the much higher level of transmissibility of Omicron,
which is a good thing,
we now no longer have a statistically significant difference in the chances of transmission between the vaccinated and the unvaccinated.
There you go, guys. There's no need to continue on with that because he said it all there, right? There is no meaningful reason to keep going down this road, as transmission between people vaccinated and unvaccinated alike is essentially the same. And there's new studies coming out of the UK, unfortunately for you vaccinated people, that you may be getting, there's a better chance of you getting COVID than the unvaccinated, especially if they have natural immunity, which wasn't a thing. And now it's starting to come back into the forefront again, where we were just like, why isn't natural immunity a thing? Why is that being told? Why are we being told that doesn't mean anything anymore? Your body can no longer fight off diseases. Now that's coming back to the forefront. And it's like, now we're getting natural immunity from Omicron because everybody's going to get it. Literally everyone's going to get this one, right? And it's far less severe. And we've seen through history how viruses tend to trend. And it's trending in the way that they tend to trend, which is they become more virulent, but they become very way less severe, right, for the people that get it. So we're in this place. We've been saying it for a long time. We're talking of rationale. I mean, just like, yes, please think rationally, logically, please, and understand that the way that this is trending, there's no need to go to keep beating this fucking dead horse anymore. So it is nice to see that, better late than never. We say this way too much now, unfortunately, but it is better late than never. Let's keep pushing forward with this. All right. Hopefully, companies and restaurants and places that are going to remain using these QR codes and stuff like that, I'm guessing it's going to be temporary. It'll be short-lived. Because they're going to lose a lot of business. There's a lot of people that are vaccinated that are going to want to go like, I'm not showing you my fucking QR code, man. I'm over this. We're over this. We're vaccinated, but I'm not showing it to you. Oh, we can't let you in. Well, then I'm not eating here. I'm not doing my business here. That's it. So, yeah, I mean, go broke, You can only hang on to these narratives for so long, and then it doesn't make financial sense for you if you're a business owner. So I see that this is it's crumbling as we speak. It's a house of cards, and I see a storm coming, right? We can feel the wind picking up. So let's all be good to each other and not judge people as best as possible. I've said this before and everything, but there's going to be some hard nuts to crack. And I use the term nuts loosely, but not really, you crazy bastards. But if you've been a dick to people, it's time to repent, as it were, because these people we're not trying to be adversarial when they were discussing their beliefs that this is going to end soon, and that if we looked at the data, it would show you that these things are no longer needed. And if you called them out and called them crazy and they were bad, they weren't good stewards, weren't good citizens because they refused to take an experimental drug based on shoddy data and data that didn't really make them feel better about the situation, or they weighed the pros and cons of getting it, and they thought they had a better chance surviving COVID than getting jabbed. If you thought that was crazy, well, look at us now, right? All right, that's enough. That's enough of that. I talked about that ad nauseum for quite long enough. So what else is going on in the world? Well, everything's shifting in the COVID world. So we're losing them. We're losing the patient. What are we going to do? Beep, beep, beep. I know what we'll do. What could we possibly do to save this this fear? How are we going to save the patient? It's fear. We need this to save this patient. They need to live. They need to live. Well, we could start a war. How about a war? How about a nice conflict? How about a nice conflict that could spill out into a global conflict? How about that? Would that work? They'd be like, mwah. Perfect. Let's do it. So then Russia invaded Ukraine. This one is we could see this coming a mile away. 20 plus years of incursions by the Russians into Ukraine. Most people don't know where Ukraine is on a map, let alone where Kiev and Kyiv and all these other cities that are in Ukraine. And but don't worry, because a huge swath of the population in North America here have put Ukraine flags and "I stand with Ukraine" on their Facebook profiles. And this, I have heard, is really put the fear of God into Vladimir Putin. He is having a hard time keeping control of his military with all these social moral heroes out there putting the flag of Ukraine on their social media profile pages. It's turning the tide of this conflict. I'm going to be honest with you right now. Thank you for all those people that took the time out of their day to click 3 times and click into the change photo, add photo, or make my profile. 3 clicks. I don't know where you find the time. And don't worry about doing something physically that's going to help the Ukrainian people, like fly over there and fight with them, and to a lesser extent, send them money. No, we're going to do poems and songs, and we're going to do, TikToks saying we stand with Ukraine. No idea why. We have no idea why we're doing this, mind you, but we're doing it. And Putin is running scared. Sanctions, threat of global conflict. Nothing phases that man. Your moral grandstanding, that has turned the tide in this conflict. Thank you. Celebrities getting on board and singing songs. Imagine all the people. Yeah, that is where we're at in the world, where we can just say that, and we can just forget about all the people that might be suffering over there, because we did our part. We did our part. So here's a little context for you, and a tad bit of nuance, let's say. This video is done by somebody I highly respect, who is a Democrat. And I know you're like, oh, God, this is where I shut the video off. I'm like, no. Wait. Don't go anywhere. Don't you go changing. Don't go somewhere else just because I said that. This person is a staunch Democrat, but at the same time has a really hard time getting behind all these global conflicts in the past 30 years or so that the Americans have been involved in. And I respect the hell out of her for it. And she's also damn sexy. Okay. Yeah. So for all the people that don't know hello, Telsey. Hello. Down boy. How you doing? She's got that silver streak thing going on that like literally nobody could pull off, but she totally pulls it off. Like, I have no chance in hell with this woman. She probably is married to a 6'9" special forces guy named Big Rig or something like that, who could like kill me with his stare. But a guy can dream. But anyway, she pulls it off. But let's say what she has to say, people that don't know what's going on over there. She has an insight, and in 45 seconds or less, she's going to blow your mind. All right, let's have a look.
Now, here's something you are not going to hear on the mainstream media. What you do hear is warmongers arguing that we must protect Ukraine because it is a quote-unquote democracy. But they're lying. Ukraine isn't actually a democracy. For example, to hold on to power, Ukraine's president shut down the 3 TV stations that were openly criticizing him and his policies, imprisoned the head of the opposition political party that had come in second place in their elections, and went and arrested and jailed that party's leaders. This is exactly what Putin has been accused of doing. But Ukraine did this all with the support of the United States.
Kumbaya, my lord, kumbaya. Kumbaya, my lord, kumbaya. Okay, so does that sound like freedom? Ah, okay. Sorry, I was playing in the background there. So does that sound like freedom to you? Does that sound like something you want to stand up for? Does that sound like something you might want to do a little bit of research into, perhaps, before you start plastering the Ukrainian flag everywhere? I mean, and it's everywhere. COVID was dropped like a bad habit, right? And then all of a sudden it's just this, right? It's just completely replaced by this. And if you're not paying attention, and God, I don't know how you're not at this point, after what we just been through the last 2 years, you don't question this just a little bit, not even just a smidge. Well, a sea hair, as we say in the field in the oil and gas industry, out by a sea hair, which is a lot sometimes if you're doing a weld. But if you're not understanding that these narratives are serving a purpose, and that maybe, just maybe, that conflicts in the past are kind of reliving themselves again. Like I have to think like Iraq the first time around, the first go around in Iraq, with George W. Sr. in there. What's going on in Iraq right now? What's going on over there? And he's sitting around with all of his, all of his advisors, the military advisors are there. And I was like, Mr. President, we believe that the Iraqi forces are going to be invading Saudi Arabia within 48 hours, sir. But it's a conflict it's way over in the Middle East, and I don't see exactly why we want to. Hang on, sorry, sir, just 1 second. Yes, sir, that's the country with all the oil. Remember, the oil. Are you sure? I'm positive, sir. That's got all the oil there. Just Thank you. Sorry, Mr. President. We think we should get involved in this conflict. They are a sovereign nation, and they deserve their freedom. And thank you, sir. I will send in the birds. So this is what I mean. Like, I mean, these warmongers, as she so succinctly put it, are up to it again. They're up to their same old tactics again. There's several families that you may know, the Clintons, the Bidens, who have huge financial investments in Ukraine and also tried to implement a democracy into a country next door to Russia, which is part of the former Soviet Union. Ukraine is, right? So strategically as well, putting nuclear weapons in Ukraine that are ours would probably be another Cuban Missile Crisis, just saying. And imagine if this was Mexico, and Mexico got in bed with Russia and they wanted to put ICBMs on the American border. How long do you think it would be before the Americans reacted? Probably just like last time, like the Cuban Missile Crisis, like I was saying. Before the boats even got there, we will blow up those boats. We were not even going to let you get close to shore with those. And we could be in a thermonuclear war, assuring mutual destruction within days of this being announced. Like, it would be instantaneous if somebody was to threaten the United States in the same manner. So, listen, I'm just saying, understand what you're getting behind before you start throwing out there that you're standing with something. Maybe understand that you might be being used as a pawn to try and garner support for something that's nefarious in nature and is totally avoidable at this point too as well. So that's all I got for you guys today. Be good to each other, all right? There's a lot of stress out there. I know my anxiety has been through the roof and everything, but I am thinking a lot more clearly these days, and I hope you guys are too. This kind of information I'm trying to give you it's not spot on all the time. I'm not saying it's 100% accurate all the time either. It's mostly opinion. But I just want you guys to realize that if you're feeling like something's not right, you're not alone. All right. Speak out. Understand that there is bad people that are going to do bad things, and they're going to use you if they can. If they can get you on board, they will definitely love to have you there. So don't be a sucker. That's what I'm saying. All right. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday, my friends. Stay strong, stay proud, and last of all, stay free. I am Jason James. This is Fighting for Liberty. We'll see you guys soon.